Hello, Ducks fans. I know I'm very late with this episode, but because I'm so busy at college, it's just so hard to film things on time. I'm still having some technical issues. But anyway, I'm going to kind of shoehorn this episode a little bit and fake it and not do it the traditional way. So welcome everybody to QUACKAST episode 2, reacting to the the Jets and Wild games and previewing the road trip, despite the fact that game 1 just ended a few minutes ago, the 4-game road trip that we have happening right now. It was just last Wednesday the Ducks season started, and they were at home playing the Winnipeg Jets, and it was a very good game to start. It took a little bit of time early on. Hampus Lindholm got a 2-minute minor penalty for "you can't do that." Once the Ducks got their bearings, they were making their consecutive passes and rimming the puck around the boards, winning the puck battles. And who scored our first goal of the season? Why, it was none other than Kevin Shattenkirk? Another really noteworthy thing that I noticed in our first game of the season was the power play. The power play, at a point, was 1 for 1 at a 100% chance of scoring a power play goal. Therefore, it was the best power play in the league at that time. But the Ducks' first power play goal was their 3rd goal of the game, and that was scored by Adam Henrique in the 2nd period. I will mention that he made the roster prior to game 1, Mason McTavish. McTavish scored the 2nd goal of the game on a rebound to get his first NHL goal in his first NHL game. So let's all give a hats off to Mason McTavish. It's always cool when you score your first goal in your first NHL game. Kyle Connor scored on a great one-timer for the Jets that John Gibson would have had to throw his groin into the corner just to have a chance to get. Rickard Rakell scored on the power play early in the 3rd, tipping in a shot from young defenseman Jamie Drysdale, who is in his first full season with the Ducks, the 19-year-old defenseman. So the final in that game was Ducks 4 and Kyle Connor 1. And then we go to Friday night. So in that game, we would have no score after 1, but then in the 2nd period on the power play, my favorite player, Jakob Silfverberg, I really like his hairstyle, and he's got a great shot, scores on a wraparound on the power play to give the Ducks a 1-0 lead. But on a power play of their own later on in the period, Kevin Fiala, he scores on the power play for them, and that ties the game at 1. So therefore, after 2, it's Silfverberg 1, Fiala 1. But then in the dying seconds of the 2nd period, with Stolarz in net because Gibson missed this game, the Ducks can't get it out. There's a shot. Oh, it's a save by Stolarz, but then what? Why do you do that? Look, Felino was in a great spot, though, to score that goal. But, jeez, that's just... oh, my goodness. You want to talk about an agonizing way to lose a hockey game, my friends. That is a great way to do it. And then a lot of Ducks fans are commenting on Instagram like, oh, vintage Ducks way to lose a game. Folks, Fairweather Ducks fan Matt will tell you right now, you're 2 games into the season. I mean, it was nice being undefeated for 1 game, but we can't act like that just yet. Let's give it a few more games, right? So now, with that and a brutal road loss, or home loss, the Ducks will take a plane up to north of the border to Calgary. And while this game just ended, I'm still going to do a recap of it. The Flames, now with a new coach in Daryl Sutter, and the Ducks have seen Sutter before. He coached with the Kings. There's a new play style for Calgary going on now. It's very hard-nosed, tough, and physical. So let's go over the game and see how the scoring occurred. Fresh off of a suspension for a preseason game and a regular season game, Blake Coleman, the new free agent signing on a 6-year deal with Calgary, he scores the opening goal for the Flames on a clear-cut breakaway that John Gibson had no chance to get at the 7:43 mark of the first. And then, on a power play again, Cam Fowler, the defenseman, takes a shot and he scores it top shelf.
Shoots and scores.
And to tie the game at 1. The Ducks have a power play goal now in 3 consecutive games. This is very, very different from last year. We already have 4 power play goals in 3 games, and we had 8 in a total of 56 last year. Just let that sink in. With the new hirings of Newell Brown and Jeff Ward, former Flames coach, by the way, the power play has changed, and I think something about the coaching styles of those 2 guys has affected the power play in a positive way. So Fowler from Kevin Shattenkirk and Troy Terry. Shattenkirk now has points in each of his first 3 games this year. The Flames with relentless pressure to start the second period and throughout the end of the first period would get the lead back on a goal by Elias Lindholm, no relation to our defenseman Hampus Lindholm, to take back the lead for Calgary 2-1. But in the third, about halfway through, it doesn't look like much is going to happen, but Henrique gets over to the right a little bit, and he finds a nice seam to Rickard Rakell, who shoots and he scores! To tie the game at 2, with a nice shot past goalie Jacob Markstrom. Rakell assisted by Adam Henrique and Josh Mahura. Very nice. And then in overtime, the Ducks had the majority of the possession in the overtime. But to get to overtime, it wasn't easy. They had to kill off a power play because Josh Manson decided to get 2 minutes for you can't do that. It was a hold, I'm pretty sure. No, it was a high stick. Whatever, same thing.
Nope.
So we go to overtime, and it's about even until Troy Terry makes a play, and he gets a pass through the defender, or past the defender, and they're sneaking back. I think they had Sean Monahan or Johnny Gaudreau on the back check, and Troy Terry makes the pass over to the defenseman, Jamie Drysdale, and what happens? He scores the OT winner, and the Ducks win it in overtime. Here's the highlight of Drysdale's game winner.
First, he gets the steal. Then he puts it between the legs. The Calgary defender, 2-on-1, waits. Perfect pass to Jamie Drysdale, and the young defenseman just pivots, opens up, accepts it.
So that was game 1 of the 4-game road trip with the win against Calgary. And it's a back-to-back set, so that means the Ducks are going to be playing again tomorrow night in Edmonton against the Oilers. This is also the first time, just like with the Flames, talking about the Oilers on our QUACKAST show. The Oilers, for those who don't know, they have these 2 guys. They might be pretty good. I don't know. May need to watch for them. Connor McDavid and Leon Draisaitl. McDavid, the fastest player in the league, probably by far. Not many can keep up with him outside of maybe Nathan McKinnon of the Avalanche, but that's neither here nor there. So McDavid, who is already a likely candidate for the Art Ross Trophy, is a big player to watch. He's already got 3 goals this season in 2 games. Yep, he's hot for a total of 5. 3 goals and 2 assists for a total of 5 points in 2 games. And his teammate Leon Draisaitl has no goals and 4 assists for 4 points, so still pretty good for him. But really, the Oilers are really those are their biggest guys. The big problem for the Oilers in recent years has been their depth pieces. But even then, the Oilers have always given the Ducks a hard time, especially at the Rogers Place in Edmonton where they play. So I expect this to be a tight game where and it's on a back-to-back, so the Ducks are likely going to be fatigued. I have the Ducks losing with Stolars in net tomorrow, and it's going to be a loss by a score of 4-3.
Bummer.
Let's call it that. 4-3 regulation loss. But really, for the Ducks, you got to watch, though, in that game. Let's go with the game winner. The winner of this game, though, Jamie Drysdale. Good defenseman, very young, only 19. It's younger than me, by the way. Also, watch for Ricard Raquel and Cam Fowler and Adam Henrique. Those guys should be the big impact guys. But along with Drysdale and McDavid, let's also keep an eye out for the likes of Darnell Nurse on the defense, who signed a huge 8-year extension worth close to $9 million. And let's also keep an eye out for Jesse Puljujärvi. Ugh, that was a mouthful. And then after that, the Ducks will travel to Winnipeg. Remember them? Yeah, we just played them. Winnipeg on Thursday, and that's good. The Jets are going to be looking for revenge. That will be their home opener, and I expect that to be a tough game. Watch for Pierre-Luc Dubois, who was a big name in trades last year because he got a trade from Columbus and he was a pretty solid player. Scheifele will be back from his suspension. We should watch for him too. And I don't think we're going to have Blake Wheeler in that game, though. He's out with an injury.
Ouch!
But I would say still watch for Kyle Connor. And then keep your eye out for the big defenseman Logan Stanley, who is 6'7" and 223 pounds. Big guy. I think the Ducks will upset the Jets again, and I think it will be a tighter game, and I'm going to go with a score of 3-2 in regulation. And then the Saturday matinee afternoon game in Minneapolis, Minnesota versus the Wild. Ducks look for revenge after Marcus Foligno of the Wild broke all Ducks fans everywhere, scoring a goal with 7 seconds left in the game last Friday. We look for revenge, and I think we are not going to get it because the new coach of the Wild, Dean Evison, has some tactics that have seemingly worked every single time since he came, that have seemingly outworked the tactics of Dallas Aikens, our coach. But to players to watch, the aforementioned Marcus Foligno is a guy to watch, the guy who scored that game-winning goal in Anaheim last week. Kirill Kaprizov, who I've mentioned a lot on the show, the youngster from Russia, only has 2 points in 2 games, no goals yet, but expect him to make a big play in that game. Also, keep an eye out for Matt Dumba, the experienced defenseman, very good offensive abilities, and let's also watch for Kevin Fiala, who scored a big goal for the Wild in their game versus us. As I said, he's becoming a really good goal scorer. So keep your eyes on Fiala, Kaprizov, Dumba, and Foligno. Prediction: we lose that game, and it will be by a score of... I think this time we're going to go to overtime, and the Ducks are going to drop that game 3-2 in overtime. So those are my predictions. Tell me what you thought of this episode. I know I did it kind of quickly because I'm also having equipment issues. My tripod broke as well. In the words of Steve Dangle, that's a dang it. But this is what I've got for you right now. So I know it's a little bit different than before, but I hope you like it. I'm in a different location, as you can kind of tell now. But tell me what you thought of the episode in the comments below. Like and subscribe to the channel if you have not done so already. And leave your comments in the comments section down below. So with that all being said, have a good night. Stay safe. Let's go Ducks, and let's continue our winning ways in Edmonton.